What if the apology was the manipulation? What if every time they said sorry, it was not remorse you were receiving, but a tool? A carefully deployed word designed to reset the cycle, silence your concerns, and keep you exactly where they needed you. Today, we are talking about the apologizing tactic, why a covert narcissist sorry means nothing, and how to finally see it for what it is. If you have ever felt confused after receiving an apology, relieved for a moment, then slowly unsettled, as though something was still wrong but you could not name it, this video is for you. Because you were not imagining it. Something was wrong. And by the end of this video, you will understand exactly what. Let us start with what a real apology actually is. A genuine apology contains 3 essential elements. Acknowledgement, the person names what they did wrong, specifically without deflection. Accountability, they take full responsibility without explaining away their behavior or shifting blame back to you. And commitment, they show over time through changed behavior that the apology meant something. All 3, together, consistently. That is what a real apology looks like. Now let us look at what a covert narcissist's apology looks like. It often sounds right. It can even feel right in the moment. That is what makes it so disorienting. The words are there. I am sorry. Sometimes even, I know I hurt you. And your nervous system, which has been waiting for safety, floods with relief. But within hours, sometimes minutes, something shifts. The behavior has not changed. Or they find a way to bring the argument back around to something you did. Or the apology quietly disappears, never referenced again, as though it never happened. And you are left wondering, did that even mean anything? It did not. Not in the way you needed it to. Here is the psychology behind what is actually happening. A covert narcissist does not experience guilt the way most people do. Guilt, true guilt, is the internal discomfort of knowing you have caused harm to someone you care about. It motivates change. It requires genuine empathy. Covert narcissists are not incapable of understanding that they have caused harm. They often know exactly what they have done. But their primary relationship is not with your feelings. It is with their own self-image and the control they need to maintain in the relationship. So when they apologize, they are not processing guilt. They are managing a situation. The apology serves a function. And that function is almost never your healing. It might be to de-escalate your emotional reaction, because your distress makes them uncomfortable or disrupts the dynamic they need. It might be to avoid consequences. If you are about to pull away, leave, or tell someone what happened, a well-timed apology can reset everything before the cost becomes real. It might be to restore the image they have carefully built, of being the sensitive, self-aware, emotionally intelligent partner. The apology is part of the performance. Or it might simply be to reestablish control. When you forgive them, you are, in a very real sense, handing power back. And they know it. None of these motivations are about you. That is the devastating truth beneath every hollow apology you have ever received from them. Now let us look at the specific patterns, because once you see these, you cannot unsee them. Pattern 1. The apology with conditions attached. This looks like, I am sorry, but you have to understand that you pushed me to that point. Or, I am sorry you felt that way. Do you notice what is absent? Ownership. The apology contains a quiet redirection of blame. Back to you, back to your reaction, back to circumstances outside their control. The word sorry is there. The accountability is not. Pattern 2. The apology that disappears. They say sorry. You feel relief. The next day or the next week, the same behavior reappears, sometimes worse, as though testing the boundary of how much the apology covered. When you bring it up, they act confused. Sometimes they deny the original incident entirely. The apology existed only to close the loop. It was never a commitment. Pattern 3. The performative breakdown. This is particularly common in covert narcissists who lean into the sensitive, vulnerable persona. When confronted, they do not just apologize, they fall apart. Tears. Dramatic declarations of self-loathing. Phrases like, I am a terrible person. I do not deserve you. And suddenly, impossibly, you are comforting them. You are the one managing their emotions about harm they caused you. This is called DARVO, deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. It is not always aggressive. Sometimes it is a collapse. But the function is identical, to shift the emotional weight of the situation away from your pain and back onto them. Pattern 4. The apology as currency. Here, the sorry comes with an unspoken transaction attached. They apologize, and they expect your immediate forgiveness, your warmth, your affection, restored completely right now. If you need time to process, if you are still quiet, still hurt, still not acting the way they expect after the apology, they become resentful. Cold. They remind you that they apologized. As if sorry is a payment that cancels all debt, regardless of whether the wound has healed. This reveals something critical. They are not apologizing to repair the relationship. They are apologizing to return to comfort, their comfort, as quickly as possible. Pattern 5, the cycle. And then there is the pattern that most survivors name as the one that held them the longest. The cycle. Tension builds. An incident occurs. You are hurt or angry. They apologize, sometimes sincerely enough that you believe, once again, that this time something has changed. There is a period of warmth. Relief. Sometimes it is genuinely good for a while. And then the tension begins to build again. The apology is not a turning point. It is a mechanism. It is what resets the cycle and allows it to continue. So what do you do with this? First, let behavior be your compass, not words. An apology that is not followed by changed behavior is information. It tells you that the sorry was the end of the transaction for them, not the beginning of repair for you. Second, notice how you feel after their apologies, not just in the first 5 minutes. Real apologies bring lasting relief. Hollow ones bring a relief that fades quickly and leaves a residue of unease beneath it. Trust that feeling. It knows something. Third, you are allowed to need more than a word. Saying thank you for saying that. I need to see this change over time before I feel safe again is not being difficult. It is being honest. It is protecting yourself. A person who genuinely means their apology will understand this and will show you, over time, that they meant it. Fourth, grieve the apology you deserved. This is not talked about enough. One of the most painful parts of recognizing this pattern is accepting that the real, accountable, genuine apology you needed, you may never receive. Not from them. And that grief is real. You are allowed to feel it. But here is what is also true. You do not need their apology to begin healing. You do not need them to finally see what they did, to finally say the right words in the right way, for you to start building your life back. The acknowledgement you were waiting for can come from yourself, from recognizing the truth of what happened, from no longer needing them to validate the harm they caused, because you already know. That is not nothing. That is everything. If any part of this video resonated with you, if you have been waiting on an apology that never quite felt real, I want you to know that your instincts were right. You were not too sensitive. You were not asking for too much. You were asking for something real from someone who was only ever offering performance. And you deserve so much more than that.